us see what we got going for us. Okay, stream is going, chat is working, and recording is starting. So yeah, we're just hopping back in to CurleeFriee through the years since we have the day off on New Year's Eve. Thank you, Microsoft, for that. And we'll just continue where we left off with this story. But yeah, we've wrapped up second grade. We're moving into third grade, which I think was a pretty big year for my elementary school life. So we can just hop right in to that. So third grade, I was at the same private school. My teacher was named Mrs. Williams. And what else is there to talk about? Her classroom was on the north side of campus, and it was pretty much like the a very like centrally located classroom. Like most of the classrooms had their own or were like part of a larger scale building, but hers was like pretty much the bottom floor of a house shaped building. So it was a really unique situation. And then upstairs, I think were two more classrooms that had the other third grade classes. But hers was on its own on the bottom, which was cool. And she was Mrs. Williams, and I really enjoyed my time in third grade. I think third grade, if elementary school was when I peaked overall, third grade was when I peaked in elementary school, IMO. So that's a brief summary. But the things I remember about third grade is, let's start with the bad thing that I remember doing. So I don't know why this happened, but we were in PE this one time, and I was talking with my friend while people were like waiting to do stuff or waiting to get called, and I like inadvertently while talking, he accidentally did the middle finger, and I was just like, oh my gosh! And then I went and told on him, and I'm pretty sure like I don't know what happened. Like I feel like I influenced him to the point where he ended up doing it. Like I didn't blatantly say like, "Oh, do the middle finger," but it was like something we were talking about turned into a middle finger, and I told on him, and it was like looking back on it, it was like such a terrible thing to do because it was like completely accidental. It wasn't like a purposeful like giving you the middle finger, but that's what happened. So it was very sad. It was sad, awkward, messed up. Any of those. But it was bad. I don't like the fact that I did it, and I still remember it because it was very cringy. Cringy thing to do, which I did. I remember that. The other thing I remember was, I'm pretty sure it was at this point that I thought I could see the future. Cause I don't know. I had like this weird thing of deja vu where like the night before I had a dream where I had imagined myself, because before we go back to class, after lunch, we like line up in our line, and we wait there for like the teachers to pick us up, and then we head back to class. But I remember like in my dream, I was talking to my friend while wearing a certain outfit and him wearing a certain outfit. And we were talking about this topic. And then I did this action as a reaction to something he said. And then it happened in real life. And it was just this weird sense of deja vu. Like, oh my gosh, I can see the future in my dreams. This is crazy. I'm a prophet. I can see the future. And it was a big moment for myself because I thought it was really cool. But turns out I don't think I can see the future. I think it's because like our situation was so deja vu, like because we're always wearing like the same clothes, it just comes across as as being very, I don't know, weird in that sense. I don't really know how to describe it, but it's because of that weird deja vu that I just thought I could like see the future. And the case is I can't see the future. I wish I could, but I can't. But I do remember that instance where I was just like really, I don't know, freaked out, I guess, about my ability, my presumed ability to be able to see the future. But that was one thing. The other thing I remember was I honestly shouldn't do this while I'm trying to talk because it's never gonna work out. Let's do this. Okay. What other things do I remember about my time in third grade? So in third grade, I remembered that we had this kid, and this kid was spoiled, like more spoiled than me, and he was a troublemaker. Like he always caused problems with the teacher, and the teacher really didn't like him, and for good reason. Like he kept disrupting class and like just causing problems for her. So it wasn't great. But then he had a birthday party and he invited everyone in the class, probably everyone in the grade, to be honest, because we were like 75-person class. And I go, and he lived in a mansion. Like legitimately, it was a mansion. It was more like not like a typical mansion that you think of, like I don't know what you generally imagine when you think mansion, but it was just like a very rectangular building that was huge, like 4 or 5 floors and like 10 rooms across on each side. Like it was ginormous, but it was very rectangular prism size. And it was crazy. And it was honestly, it was completely wild. He also had his own tennis court in the backyard. He had his own horses in the backyard. And he had his own pools, and they were like doing tours of the house. It was honestly insane. It's the craziest house I've ever been to. Because it was like a huge plot of land with all the stuff in the backyard. I think there was like a basketball court too. Like, blew my mind. It honestly blew my mind how wealthy he was. And I think looking back at, the type of lifestyle he had at home, he probably had like servants and maids and stuff. I understand why he wasn't a very good student, and was a troublemaker because he basically always got what he wanted. It feels like. But yeah, he was mad rich. The other thing I remember distinctly was, so the open house for third grade was a diorama. It was a diorama of an animal of your choice. And I think it went down the list and you got to choose your animal. And the animal I chose was bald eagle. I chose the bald eagle. And basically the concept of this diorama is you would create the diorama of your animal with like clay. You would do this clay figure, and you would just like show it in its environment or whatever, and you would that's basically it. Like you make a diorama of the animal, in its natural habitat, maybe with like something that it eats, and then you would just have it set up on your desk or around the classroom, something like that. And then people would come and look at it. And the thing was, a lot of these kids are rich, and a lot of them were spoiled. So a big thing about these kids is that when there's like these large scale projects, the parents help them out a lot. And their projects look really nice because they have like, their mom helping them or whatever it is. Yeah, it's her mom helping or whatever. And that's the that's the concept. I don't know how else to explain it. and they all look really nice. Well, my mom, on the other hand, was like, no, you're gonna do this all by yourself. I'll help you buy the materials and stuff and paint and stuff, but you are gonna do this all by yourself. And I haven't really talked about it, but I was a terrible artist. Like, my mom was always talking about, she still talks about how I draw people with 6 fingers and how I only draw stick figures because I really am terrible at drawing. So my my diorama looked terrible. Like, the only way you could tell it was a bald eagle is that it was a brown bird looking thing with a white head. That's the only way. Like, if it didn't have that, you'd be like, what is this thing? Um, so yeah, that is what happened with the diorama. But the thing was, my teacher loved it. Like, my teacher was like, this is the one I really want to show off because it's showing the kid doing, you know, the work on their own. You know, they're not getting assistance. And it's clearly obvious that there was no assistance because it looked so bad. But I don't know, it was a proud moment for me for them to be like, to value it. Because to me, you know, you walk around at open house taking all the cookies and stuff, and then you see the fact that there is not much to enjoy, to look at, because mine is not pretty and everyone else's is pretty, but my teacher liked it, so I was very happy for that fact. The other thing I remember about third grade is that when it came Christmas time, I think it was that rich kid or someone, they pretty much provided us all with these gingerbread train sets. So it's not like a gingerbread house, but it was a gingerbread train. And you could pretty much make the train and then decorate however you want it. And I loved it. It was so fun. It was so sugary and so sweet as a kid. It was amazing. It was perfect. And I hope my mom has a photo of it. I'm pretty sure she does. If not, that would be sad because I remember building that train set and it was so much fun building it. So I was very happy to build it. So I was thankful for that. Yeah, so I remember that. I was very, very, very thankful. And that's the story regarding the train set. I don't know, it was just a fun experience because the whole class was each making their own train, you know? Like, you could decorate however you wanted it, and we had it. And realistically, those things were so sweet that no one finished their train, like ate their whole train. It was like you had a couple bites and you're like, I'm done. So there was a lot of wasted food in that moment, but it was a fun experience to do for sure. So I remember that. The other thing I remember is, so like what was started in first grade, there was this thing called accelerated reading and there was accelerated math. And accelerated math, the way accelerated math works is you would get tests. No, I forgot the exact phrasing, but you got some sort of test where you would learn new concepts. So every concept was like a number and you would go higher and higher in number. And you would do that. And you would take those, and then if you did well on it, you would just move on to another test, okay? And then when you move on to another test, you just keep going until you don't do well on something, and then you you work well until you don't get something, and then you finally get a practice when you pretty much failed on a topic. And then once you do practice, you get like a practice test after you like learned it, and then you take it. And then after you finish that, you would move back to like the regular tests or whatever. That was terrible. Oh, it was enough. So you would move on to back to your regular tests. So the big thing about this was like, how far can you get on this thing without needing to take a practice? And the thing was, I was very good at math, especially as an elementary schooler. Please, no. Okay. I was very good at math. So I was turning in these tests pretty much every day. Like I would go home and I would do these, and I would just keep going and keep going, and go as far as I could. And I was going so fast that I got into like these high levels of the test until finally I got a practice. So I didn't last the longest, but I got the furthest. But then my friend Nicholas, who I've talked about, he was also good at math, but he was a lot like slower. Like he took his time more for turning these in. So he got his first practice after me, but it was on a topic I had already done. So just saying, I won in that regard. I'm just saying it. I won. I went the longest time, or went the most topics without getting a practice, which I think is how you should judge it on. If that's just me talking, but that's what I think. And I remember that. And this was further cemented by, at the end of the year, you pretty much you recommended everyone in your class for one award. So everyone at the end got one award. And the award that I got was best in math. I was best in math, although my friend Nicholas got best in like accelerated math. But I can't win both, so he got that one, and I got best in math, which I think is the more general one, the superior one, if I'm just saying. But yeah, that happened, and did that. That was good. Okay, whatever. So we did that. And I got best in math, and it was fun. I enjoyed my time. I think Mrs. Williams was also the other teacher that that we went to her house, and I think she had like a lakeside house. And then I remember we brought her flowers because I think she was retiring that year. And I remember bringing her flowers to her place, but we got her flowers and it started leaking water out the bottom because it wasn't actually like closed or something. I don't know. We didn't notice it until we were there. So maybe it was roses and then the hole popped or something. But that's what happened in that sense. So I remember just getting her roses for like, thank you for being a teacher, because she was a great teacher. Honestly, one of the best I've ever had. Yeah, it leaked. And I remember that so clearly because I was so embarrassed because the water was just causing problems for her. And it was supposed to be like a party for her. So I felt bad. But what other stuff? The other stuff that we had was, third grade is when I started to get a crush on Emily, from the new girl from second grade, and I started to get a crush on her. And I'm just a kid. I don't really how do I put this? I'm not really good with girls. I don't know how to be good with girls. I'm just a kid. I'm just a kid who wants to, who likes the girl. And that's all there really is to it. But turns out she liked me, but also her friend Bernice also liked me. And then I was like, okay. But I was secretive. I was like, okay, I'll tell you guys who I like at our field trip. And our field trip, it was like an end of the year type of field trip where we went to like a roller skating rink. And this was like at a time when I still remembered my whatchamacallit. I still remembered my hockey skills, so I could roller skate. So I was like, yeah, I'm cool. I can roller skate. And I remember that. I remember that. I remember being cool, being able to roller skate while, friends struggled. And that was fun, for sure. And then afterwards, we ended up going to like a park or something. And then it came down to the time where it's like, okay, I need to, tell them who I like. So they were like off to one side, and I'm like, about to point, and then me being like a very embarrassed kid is like I pointed to the middle at the bush, because I'm like, I don't want to tell them, I'm embarrassed. But afterwards I said I liked Emily, and I was like, oh, okay. And nothing really happened in third grade beyond that, because we kind of only said we liked each other. Whatchamacallit, we kind of only said we liked each other at the very end, and then we had to leave for the summer, so that happened. Yeah, in third grade. Um, but yes, that's what really, not much really happened in third grade in terms of my crush, other than us both saying that we liked each other. So that happened, and then moving on to the summer of third grade is when I almost died. Because in the summer of third grade, I did baseball. I did baseball, and Nicholas also did baseball. We did baseball together. And the thing was, my mom got me a bat, and I was like, oh, this is my bat. Other people shouldn't use my bat. And then I did my thing. I went to do the batting, and then I batted, and then and then I went to go get my bat while they were still like swinging or whatever, like while people were still playing baseball. And I went as they were like pitching and stuff, and I almost got like nailed in the head. And obviously it's completely my fault, like I was an idiot who was going onto the base to get my bat, and I almost got swung in the head. And who knows, I probably could have died. I probably could have died pretty badly if things went different ways, but thankfully they didn't. And I was I was unharmed, but it was definitely a moment where it's like I could have had a terrible time. I really could have like actually died, gotten a brain injury, something like very bad. And luckily that didn't happen. But I did almost ate it. But yeah, I remember that because it's a very, oh my gosh, it's a very big moment where I am realize how dumb I could be as a kid. And yeah, that's the story of me almost dying, or at least getting very, very injured. What else is there really? I'm trying to think, but I can't really think of anything specific beyond that. I also am dying in the game, but what else is there? Third grade. Wow, this is going a lot shorter. I thought I would have more to say, but there's not much to say, I guess. I don't know. It just, okay, I'm gonna die here. Yep, I died. Oh, but I killed her. Oh, died there too. Okay. La 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 la. Okay. Um, hmm. Third grade. What else happened in third grade? I talked about the dioramas with the animals. I talked about my time with Emily. No, that story is fourth grade. I talked about the time I actually made someone do the middle finger, and I told on them. Awkward. I don't think we got to do sports until fourth grade. So I don't have any of our sports stories, because when you did sports, you got to leave class early to go play games with other private schools. And I seem to always go to schools that have bad sport teams. So that's something, I guess. Um, what else is there though? I don't really know. Um, hmm. What can I say about third grade? I talked about Mrs. Williams. I talked about accelerated math. What books was I reading in third grade? I honestly don't remember. Um, I probably kept reading Harry Potter. But beyond that, I don't really know what books I was probably reading during that time. Oh, okay. Um, I don't remember what books. Harry Potter. Um, I guess I'd have to look at like what things came out in that year and be like, oh, I was interested in that. Um, but at this point, I don't know. I am dying though. Just a heads up. Um, let's see. Boom, boom, boom. What could it be? What could I do? Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Let's see. Hmm. I I actually am unsure what else I can talk about third grade. Wow, I really thought I would have more to talk about third grade. I actually can't think of other stuff to talk about. Third grade, third grade. Okay, so start third grade. What else happened in third grade? Okay, third grade. I guess it's just a random stuff, but third grade was when they got us to learn our addresses. Like they would test us and have us write our address out, and then it was like after a spelling test, we would have to write our address on like the back, and then the teacher would check it, and then once you knew it, you didn't have to do it again. Um, what else happened? I do remember this instance where my teacher was like, we were like learning about north, south, east, and west. Um, we were learning about north, south, east, and west. And the thing she asked a question like, how do you know what's north? How do you know what's south? How do you know what's east and what's west? And the correct answer was you base it off of north being where the mountains were because there were mountains to the north. But I was just like, oh, the ocean's that way. And like in my mind, it made sense because like since I had been in this area for so long, I had an idea of where north, south, east, and west were. Um, so I knew it, but the teacher was like, nope, that's not it because it was supposed to be something that was easier. And then someone said the answer being north is to the mountains. And yes, I guess that makes sense. But what else is there? I think, okay, I I don't know when this was, but I I had okay. This will be embarrassing, but you have to state it all as part of it. But I remember I started taking piano lessons, and I first did those group lessons where I was playing Pokemon on my Game Boy, and then my grandma got me a piano, like an upright piano, I think is what it's called, um, and she got me an upright piano, and then I started getting lessons at home. The teacher would come to the house, and then I would get my lessons there. So that's how that would work. So I got lessons like that. Um, and then I remember she would come. Oh my gosh, it's so embarrassing. She would come and she would do the piano lessons, but the way she dressed was like every time she bent over, like her underwear was showing. and uh and it was always like light blue lacy underwear. I don't know why, but that's just what she wore. And as me, it was just weird to me that you could see it. There was no like horniness involved in it. It was just weird. But I remember that. And then I also, okay, that was, I don't know if I should have said that. It was just weird thinking about it. But the other thing that I started was, I was going to say archery, but it's definitely not archery. I started doing tennis. So I did these group tennis lessons at, like Cypress College. And it was a lot of fun because the coach, it was a lot more like you played games where it's like you try to receive it, or it's like four corners where you have your own little corner and you have to protect it. And it was fun to get into tennis. I know my mom wanted me to, to be more active. And as I've said, like fun active is kind of like the best way to keep me active. I'm not like run on a treadmill like my mom can do type of deal. So I remember doing tennis and I really enjoyed it. And it was like early on Saturdays. It was like 8 or 9 a.m. So I like, for a lot of people, Saturdays are like I get a sleep in day. But for me, it never really was like sleep in on the weekends. It was always like you're up early to go do stuff, and then you just do stuff in the day. And I guess I've never really mentioned it, but pretty much from when I was a kid all the way to senior year of high school, I got a break in senior year of high school, I had a bedtime of 9 p.m. So I was sleeping at 9 p.m. Pretty much every day, every weekday, and even weekends. I think when I was really young and didn't really have like games to play, I was pretty much sleeping early. Like I got a lot of sleep as a kid, and maybe that contributed to my height because my dad was like 6'3", my mom is 5 feet, and yet somehow I've luckily gotten either his genes or something, but I ended up getting my I ended up being 6 foot. So happy with that. So that's what I remember with regards to that. Tennis was fun. I got a lot of sleep as a kid. 3rd grade, man, what else happened in 3rd grade? Oh yeah, 3rd grade. This was also in the concept of me liking Emily. 3rd grade play was this play about Johnny Appleseed. So pretty much we had to do a play as Johnny Appleseed. And the premise of the story was, it was a grandpa telling his kids, or his grandkids, the story of Johnny Appleseed. So that's what the concept was. I was a grandpa, and I would talk to them, and then I would start reading, and it would fade out, and then it would go to the story of Johnny Appleseed and do his story, and then it would fade back in, and I would do that. And I remember, because we all memorize our lines, I remember the music teacher, or like the musical director, she got so upset at pretty much every group, because everyone like would learn on their own, and they would like practice in their chunks with the group they have. And she got so upset at pretty much everyone except for our group, which is like the grandpa and the kids, because no one was memorizing their lines except for our group. Our group memorized our lines so well. It was, I mean, not so well, but we actually memorized it compared to the people that didn't memorize it. She got upset at everyone except for us. And I remember that. I was like, wow, we did good. And the other thing was, I was the grandpa, but one of the grandkids was Emily. So when we got to practice our parts, that means I got to spend more time with Emily. So I was a happy boy, all this extra time I get to spend with Emily. and that was a ton of fun. And then the grandma was the girl Harena who liked me earlier. So I don't know if she still liked me at that time, but that definitely happened. So that was interesting. And then so pretty much there was as I explained before, there's like a night show and a day show, and um, I was the day show. I was the day show grandpa, and then at nighttime I was some like side character in the Johnny Appleseed story. Um, but the nighttime grandpa, I thought he also liked Emily, and his name was Warren. So I thought he liked her. Who knows if he did? We weren't really close friends, so it's not something that really got brought up. But I thought he liked her. But that's whatever. And then when it came to the showtime, everyone had to like make a dress that looks like they're in Johnny Appleseed. But all I had to do was dress up like a grandpa. So I just got like some old looking clothes, and my mom helped me pick it out. We got some old looking clothes, and then we got this bottle of like spray hair color to go gray. So I was gray. Why did I even come up here? I don't know why I came up here. I got a gray hair color, or whatever. And then I remember during the play, like the actual performance, I basically walk up with like walking with a cane, because I'm an old grandpa. But when I was walking up, the cane like slipped on the flooring and it made such a loud noise. Like it was so loud, and people laughed because it was just like, that's unexpected. So that happened, and I was slightly embarrassed because it was like, oh my gosh, this was like nothing like we've ever planned for, this huge loud noise. But it's fine in the long run. But I still remember how like embarrassing that was, because it's just so unexpected and was so loud. It just slipped on that flooring. But we did that. And then I think at the end when they do the credits, I danced with Harena because it was like the grandpa and the grandma dance or whatever. So I did that. And that was fun too. I enjoyed that performance. Like I said, one of our field trips was to do a skating type of deal. But how do I talk to little? It was like this skating type of deal. I don't really remember any other. Oh, did I talk over? I don't really remember any other. Whatchamacallit? Any other field trips from third grade? I'm like trying to think, because I think we went to one field trip that was like replicating old time like an old time America. But I think that was just that was fourth grade. So I don't really remember anything beyond that. That's sad. I feel like I always had fun on field trips. You know what I can talk about though? I can also talk about the lunches I had in elementary school. And some food that I really like that I no longer like. So a big part of my elementary school, like I've said before, is they like screwed us over. They gouged us on the prices for the school lunch. So I started bringing food more and more. And basically what my mom would do is she would make sandwiches in the morning after she did her like run on the treadmill. And she would just use like those Kraft singles and bologna meats, like the really fake stuff. And she eventually like learned that it was really bad for you. So she stopped doing that. But I remember I would get like Kraft singles with the Oscar Mayer bologna or something. And that would be my lunch for the day. And then probably like chips or some sort of cookie. I don't remember if she would give me fruit. Definitely gave me fruit in high school, but I don't remember in elementary school. But yeah, that was definitely a thing, for sure. What other stuff? I still kind of, I still do, but I loved Pop Tarts. I love Pop Tarts, and then I think it was like Toaster Strudel. Toaster Strudel was like came out as like the competitor to Pop Tarts, and I was like, this sounds amazing. I want Toaster Strudel. And then we bought a ton of it because they were on sale this one time, and I realized I did not like Toaster Strudel compared to Pop Tarts. So I had to eat it, because my mom was not gonna waste food like that. Did I get this? No, I didn't. Okay, I'm pretty sure I didn't. So I remember that, and we had just had a ton of toaster strudel in the freezer that I just had to get through, even though I really didn't like it. I don't know if it's like the method we used to make it, but it was not good. And that's for sure. The other thing about my life when it comes to food is that my family was a big couponer. So you know how you get like coupons to McDonald's and Burger King and KFC and Wiener Schnitzel? We would use those. Not a lot because my grandma was like the chef of the house and she would cook and it would be awesome. But there were times when like we couldn't, so we would go out there, and I loved going out for fast food. And I had Wiener Schnitzel recently, and I realized this is absolutely disgusting. What is wrong with me for liking this? But in those moments, I enjoyed it. That's for sure. I enjoyed those foods, and that was a good time. What other thing can I talk about? Something else was in my head just now, and then I was like, yes, that would be a great thing to talk about, and then I've forgotten it. What was that thing? It was actually a good topic to discuss, or just to talk about and bring up, but I cannot remember it for the life of me right now. What was it? Was it about movies? Was it about games? Was it about trips? Oh, wait, was it a trip? I'm trying to remember. Trip. Was it a trip? Oh, yes. Okay. So my mom, I remember this. My mom worked at Toshiba. And there were two like benefits of her working at Toshiba that we could enjoy together. One of them was the company owned one of the boxes at what is now the Honda Center. So whenever the circus was in town or like Disney on Ice was in town, she could get tickets to stay in the box for free, because they just have tickets. In the early days, okay, it's TWY. In the early days, they would also cater food. So we got like chicken tenders and stuff. And, I didn't really get chicken tenders all that often. So I loved getting chicken tenders. But as time went on, they started giving us less and less food. And then it just became you're going there for the seats and not for actual food. And that was sad. I would have loved to. Okay, what is it? TWY. I would have loved to gotten more of the free food, but unfortunately we didn't. And then the other thing was they would give you tickets to the show, but they wouldn't give you parking sometimes. Sometimes some people would get parking and other times you wouldn't. So on those times where we didn't get parking, we parked in like this car dealership area outside of the Honda Center where you didn't have to pay, and then we walked all the way across to get to the Honda Center to avoid paying for parking. And I remember that. TWY. Oh gosh, I forgot where to start on this. YWT. Yeah, so I remember going to the Honda Center a lot, and I got to enjoy a lot of those shows for free because it was included pretty much. Um, okay, I think I remember it. Oh wait, what? I have to start it. I think I remember it. Okay. So I remember that. And then what else? So the other benefit was Toshiba would host like this golf tournament pretty much. It was in like Costa Mesa. And we would go and they would always have catered food there, and that was awesome because they catered nicer food, you know. I think when they did the Honda Center, it was just the I'm trying to think how to do this. One moment as I process this. Da 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 da. Bum 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 bum. Give me one. Okay. There you are. Okay. Yeah, and so the other benefit was the golf tournament, and they would always have good food and good dessert. So I love going to the golf tournament. And similarly, we would have to park somewhere else and then take a free shuttle over to avoid paying for parking. That's fine. But you get to see golf, which I don't really care about. But free food, one, really enjoyed that. And the other thing was Toshiba at one point was getting into gaming laptops. So in the entranceway, they had these gaming laptops that you could try out. And I remember one of the times I went, they had Spore on it. And I played Spore so much on that laptop. It was just like, Mom, you can go do whatever you want. I know you want to eat, so you can go eat. I'm going to stay here and I'm going to play this game. And I played the game so much. Like, I literally was playing Spore more than I was watching golf or eating. And that was crazy. And then the other time when I played even more than that, where I don't even remember going to the golf area other than to like grab food one time and then heading back, was they had Burnout Paradise, which is like the racing game where you like crash into people. That was honestly so much fun. I enjoyed playing Burnout Paradise. I got through so much of that game in that day just playing it. And I have no regrets because to me, that was such a fun memory. Like I would just see people walk through this like tunnel. Like it was in the main drag. Everyone who comes to this tournament had to walk through this area and they would all just be walking through and I would just keep playing Burnout, keep playing Burnout, keep playing Burnout. It was so much fun because, you know, I didn't really have those type of racing games. I just had, whatchamacallit? I just had, you know, like Nintendo stuff. And maybe I got my PlayStation 2 at this point. I think so. But it was wild. It was just like I played it so much. It was actually kind of crazy. And I feel like if I told my mom, she would remember me just not existing there and just being in that area the entire time. Like she wouldn't even remember me at the tournament. She would just remember eating food, watching golf, eating more food, and then a tiny bit of time she would see me. Like it was that much time spent doing that. And I remember that so distinctly, and that was such a good time. Like, oh my gosh, I think about that time playing Burnout, and I love Burnout, and I think it was on Game Pass, and I was like, I want to play it again, because it's been so long, and that's my experience with Burnout Paradise at that golf tournament. It's like Toshiba golf. I don't know if they even do it anymore because I feel like Toshiba's not doing so hot nowadays. They definitely left the gaming computer space because I got one in like middle school and it was not good. Just saying. But that happened. But what else? Spending time with my dad. So when my dad came to like see me, we would do some stuff together. And then I remember distinctly one of the things that we did together is we would go to Dave and Buster's, and we would play games at Dave and Buster's. And one of the games we would just play games and get tickets, and then with those tickets we would buy stuff, and then we would take it, or no, we would buy stuff with our tickets, or like exchange for our tickets, and then after we exchanged for our tickets, we would also go to like the dollar store or whatever, and we would pick up some like supplies or coloring books, and then we would go to the Orange County place to donate stuff to like the orphans or something. I think it was orphanage, and we would donate stuff. And just looking back on it just makes me realize how like good of a person my dad was, and how he just wanted to like help people that were less fortunate than him, even in like a little way. And he still wanted it to be fun for me, and I appreciate it. And he would get like the receipt for how much the stuff costs for like a tax benefit, and then give it to my mom, and then she would claim those tax benefits, which is, that's my mom focusing on tax benefits and that type of stuff. But yeah, he was really good with that. What other stuff do I remember about third grade? We've gotten into the MISC stuff. Third grade, I don't even remember who I sat next to in third grade. I guess I don't remember in second grade or first grade either, but that was third grade. Good times indeed. Like I said, third grade was when I peaked in elementary school, and elementary school was when I peaked in school. So that's that. We can try this. We can try exerting my brain a little bit, and then maybe in the process of exerting my brain for this thing, I will remember a tiny bit more, but I doubt it. So let's think. That's three. Maybe I need to think like this. Boom. Okay, there we go. Big brain. Okay, I solved that, but I didn't really think of any other stories. Third grade stories. I kept doing Chinese school. I do have a story from Chinese school. So Chinese school, realistically, I wasn't good at Chinese, but I was good at memorizing. And this Chinese school had these 3 tests. One was like, I don't really remember the 3 tests, but there were 3 tests. I also went to Chinese school with Nicholas. So Nicholas was like a really close friend at that time, because I knew him, and I did a lot of things with him outside of school. But we did Chinese school, and there was like these tests, and there was one really hard test, and there were 2 easier ones. And it was like, oh, can you get 100% on these tests? You'll get like a prize or something. You get like a pen or a pencil. And the pen was like one of those multicolored pens where it's like red, blue, black, and green or something. And those are cool. You get like multicolored pens and stuff. So that was cool. I'm pretty sure it's over here. Is it not over here? But there was like the easy one, and then there was the hard one, and then I studied a lot because my mom wanted me to do well on it, and I literally aced the hardest test, but then I messed up on the 2 other easier tests, which was sad. But then Nicholas, I don't know at that time if he got like a console or something, but this was a time when he was like really hooked on gaming. Um, like probably more than I'm hooked on gaming nowadays, where he didn't do well, and his mom chewed his ass out, like publicly. Like it was really sad. Um, but yeah, she chewed him out for him not doing well in the test, and it was kind of rough to see. Okay, where the heck is this thing? I am literally so lost. I thought it was over here, but I don't see it unless it's like over. Oh, it's over there. Okay. Yeah. So she chewed his ass out, and that was like he was crying at the school, and I understand like she was a little too harsh if I'm being honest. I remember that. But that was Chinese school. Yeah, didn't really stick. I don't think it ever will stick. Chinese just doesn't work with me. Don't like me. I don't like it. That's just how it be. But alas, that's what the heck? Okay, let's just like go through this and jump out or something. Okay. Um, but yeah, that was Chinese school. What else do I remember about third grade? Um, what else do I remember about third grade? Not much. Yeah, I really don't remember much else. Okay, I just need to check this. Okay, we're fine. I don't even remember how many things that had. But yeah, I kind of want to wrap third grade up there. I honestly don't remember. I'm kind of just rambling at this point. But third grade was the start of my time liking Emily. It kind of lasted for a while, but we will hear more about that later. My favorite teacher, my favorite point in elementary school. I don't know. I think that's a good place to leave it at. I mean, we had art class. I guess this is one other thing. We had art class, and I was really bad at it. I I'm terrible at art. Like I've said, my mom calls me the six finger drawer, and stuff like that. So I'm pretty terrible at art. So that is a thing for sure. That is a thing for sure. What other things can I talk about in terms of that? One, two. Okay, let's do this. Yeah, I'm terrible at art. I still am terrible at art. I do not deny that I'm not the greatest at art, but I remember that. I just remember art class being bad at it. Emily was very good at art. She won awards and stuff. She was very good at it. I was very impressed as a child, being like, wow, she's good at art. I mean, if I saw it now, I'd still be impressed that an elementary school probably draws better than I do now, which is not saying much if I'm being honest, but that's the truth. So yeah, I think I'll wrap third grade up there. We're at like what? Almost an hour, and with a ton of rambling, it's only like 45 minutes. Definitely less than I thought I would talk about, but whatever. You know, if I remember more, I remember more. But that'll just be it. So thank you everybody for watching now or later, and I hope if the future me is watching, you get a lot out of it. Maybe you remember a bit more. Remember those good times, or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, this has been CurleeFriee. I hope you have a nice night, a nice day, or whatever else it may be. And Happy New Year. Happy 2022. Bye now.